Hello happy couples! In this video I'm going to share with you how to fill the form I-751, the petition to remove conditions on residence based on marriage. So the first step that you should do is to go to the USCIS website, which is uscis.gov. And then you can just simply type in this address, uscis.gov/I/751, or you can go to the search bar here and type I-751 form, enter. And then choose the first option. And voila, here we go. And here you have the form filing tips, and here you have the form I-751. Click on it, and here you see that this form can help you with removing conditions on the status based on marriage. What's relevant for you are these two forms here. Basically the form I-751, this is the latest form, and you should use the latest form. Make sure you use the latest one. And instructions for fulfilling the form 751. So you should download the both and start fulfilling form 751 by clicking on it. So there are two options. You can save the form or download the form, print it, and then type all the answers in, or you can simply do that online and then print it afterwards. So if you are fulfilling it online, you can do that by simply clicking on the boxes here. The first part you are not fulfilling. This is the part that USCIS will fulfill. All this part here, as you can see, and then you can start from here. See, it says start here. Type or print in black ink. So use the black ink. So I'll start with the part 1, information about you, the conditional resident. Type in the family name, let's say Johnson, Jane, first name, middle name if you have one, other names used. Now, when it comes to the other names used, this could be either your maiden name, then your name your surname when you were single, or it could be the name that you have used previously. So previously, like for example from your previous marriage. So any name that you have used before. So list all other names you have ever used, including aliases, maiden name, nicknames. Afterwards, you will provide your date of birth here in this form: month, 4th month, 10th of April 1999, for example. And then country of birth, let's say Austria. Country of citizenship, the same. Alien registration number. Now this is the number that you already got while submitting the previous documentation, and you will find it in your previous documentation, and this number starts with the letter A. The next one is your social security number. Fill in this data here and this number here. consists of all these numbers. USCIS online account number if you have applied online previously, and then your marital status. So my marital status is currently married. Now there is a chance that you came to USA in order to get married here, or you got married in some other country with your husband. You came here as married to him, or you came to USA and got married to him. But some circumstances appeared and you got divorced, for example, or your husband deceased, or things like that. Then you'll choose something else. You are not married, you are either widowed or you're single. You're single, let's say, and then you will not fulfill this part. That if you are married, you'll put the date of your marriage, place of your marriage, let's say Houston, and then what's the country, or I don't know, California or San Francisco, California. And then if the marriage through which you gained conditional residence has ended, provide the date it ended. So for example, if it came to the divorce, then you'll still put the date of the marriage. If you choose here divorced, you'll still provide the date of the marriage with the person that you with the US citizen, and then place of marriage, and then here provide the date if the marriage ended by divorce, or let's say the date of death, and the date when the conditional residence expires on. So you have already received your 2-year permanent residency card, your green card, and below on the green card you'll find the expiration date. Put on the expiration date here. The next page is part 1, which is information about you, the conditional resident. So mailing address, you'll put the name of some other person here in care of name. So in care of name means it's not your name, it's somebody else's name, and their address. If you would like your mailing address, or if your mailing address is some other address than different than your physical address. But if your mailing address and physical address are the same, you will not fulfill anything here in care of name. You will leave it empty, and you will simply fulfill all these parts here, your street name along with the number. Let's say apartment, and then number of apartment. City or town, choose the state here, zip code. Is your physical address different than your mailing address? Then if it's the same, you put no, so it's not different. If it's different, then click on yes, and then typing the different address here. Okay, additional information about you. Simply fulfill all these parts, answer these questions. Are you in removal, deportation, or rescission proceedings? No. Was a fee paid to anyone other than attorney? No. Have you ever been arrested? No. So if you answered yes to the item number 20, provide detailed explanation in part 11, additional information. Part 11, an additional information. Now answer all these questions here, like if you are married, is this different marriage than the one through which you gained conditional residence status? That means that you might have came to USA by getting married to one man, a US citizen, and then in the meantime you got married to somebody else. So in that case you would put yes, otherwise you would put no. Have you resided at any other address since you became permanent resident? So if you lived, as soon as you arrived to US, if you lived only on one address all this time, you'll just click no. If you lived on more than one address, you will click on yes, and then you will provide this address or addresses in part 11 additional information, which is also the last page of this form, which is page 11. And then is your spouse or parent spouse currently serving with or employed with U.S. government? No. Or if it is, then choose yes. Biographic information, not Hispanic, white, feet, just choose, type in 5.5 your height, and then weight. What's your weight? Your weight here, just click on the box and just fulfill it. Then your eye color and your hair color. Basis for petition. So basis for petition are joint filing. My conditional residence is based on my marriage or my parents' marriage to the U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, and I'm filing this joint petition together with my spouse. So if you're married to the U.S. citizen, based on this marriage, you are filing. You got your residence, 2 years residence, 2 years green card, and now you are filing jointly. Then click on yes. Now I guess you will choose this part here if you are a child of your parent who actually got the residence based on the marriage, but you didn't file together for the residence. Alright, so the other one is waiver or individual filing request. My conditional residence is based on my marriage or my parents' marriage to U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. I'm unable to file joint petition with my spouse. So this is in the case that your spouse is deceased, the marriage was entered in good faith, but it came to the divorce or similar. Alright, the part 4, information about U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident spouse. If filing as child separately, information about U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident step-parent through whom you gained your conditional residence. So this is for the children who are applying separately from their parents, but got their status based on the marriage of their parent with the U.S. citizen. So in that case, you would choose the answer, any of these answers here that applies to you, and other information. So enter the information of your spouse who's the U.S. citizen based on marriage with whom you have got your permanent residency. So relationship is your spouse, he's your spouse, and then his name, first name, middle name, date of birth. Fulfill all these parts here. Date of birth. Social Security, this would be numbers, and then he doesn't really have an alien number unless he is not a US citizen. So in the case he is a legal permanent resident as well, but not yet a US citizen, then he already has an alien number. And then his physical address here, after which we come to the part 5, information about your children. So in our case, I have a child from my previous marriage, and my son came to USA along with me, and he filed jointly with me at the same time in the same application last time for the 2-year green card, and he's applying jointly in this application with me. So I'll put, and my husband also has children, so I'll put my son's name here first, and then his date of birth and his alien number. He also has the alien number. I'll find that in his documentation. And now this is important. Is this child living with you? Yes. Is this child applying with you? Yes. So my son wasn't an adult when he came to USA. He was 16 years old, and now he's 19 years old. But he is still considered as my child, and he's still living with me, and he is applying together with me in this application. So this is how you should fulfill it in the case you also have a child. So part 5, information about your children. So physical address of my child is the same address as mine, and then you have part 4, other children. So in our case, these are my husband's children. Their physical address, and here you can see that you have a space for 4 children, to enter 4 children. In the case there are more children than that, you will simply add their information on the last page of this form, on the page 11. Or if there isn't enough of space, you would add another paper where you would put all those necessary informations, and where you would mention a page number, they will mention part number, and you will mention the item number, like this, for example. And then you will enter all the data, and you will sign it, and you will put the date on it. Alright, so part 5, information about your children, their physical address. Here's child 5, actually there is a place for 5 children. Their physical address, and then part 6, accommodation for individuals with disabilities or impairments. You just simply read all these questions and answer of them. Basically, it is about, it is for the persons with disabilities or impairments, and the questions relate to their need for accommodations. So if you don't have any disabilities or impairments, you just click on no here. Or simply explain your disabilities if you have one. Part 7, petitioner statement, contact information, acknowledgement of appointment at USCIS application. So this is a petitioner statement where you should choose one of these options here. If you have, so you are the petitioner, If you can read and write and understand English, then simply click here. If interpreter helped you fill out the application or interpreted it for you, then click here. Or if you requested services of somebody else, then click here. Petitioner's contact information, so these are your contact information. Click here and type in the telephone number, mobile number, your email address, and acknowledgement of appointment USCIS. Then so and then type in your name here and read here please, because it says that you understand that the purpose of USCIS appointment is for you to provide fingerprints, photograph, signature, to reaffirm all the information here. So basically you are confirming that whatever you wrote in this application here is true, and that you understand that when you sign your name, you provide fingerprints and photograph at USCIS, you will be reaffirming that you willingly submit this petition, and you should read this for any case. Anyways, part 7 is petitioner statement, contact information, acknowledgement of appointment, certification and signature, petitioner certification. So you should sign here and you should date the signature. Now part 8 is spouse or individual listed in part 4 statement, contact information. So your spouse should choose here what applies to him. If he can read and understand English, then click here. And then his contact information, his email address. Part 8 is the acknowledgement of appointment at USCIS. Spouse or individual listed in statement, contact information, acknowledgement of appointment. So he should write here his name and surname, and he should read this part here. Is basically confirming by his signature. He's confirming that all what he has mentioned in the application is the truth, and that he is willing and ready to share that as well, and biographic information and photographs, fingerprints at the USCIS. Spouse or individual certification. So his signature and date of signature. And then in the case you had an interpreter for this application, interpreter will fulfill this part, or you will fulfill this part for him. Basically they will fulfill it. So interpreters, family name, given name, business organization, mailing address, contact information. Interpreters contact information, certification, signature, and then signature here, or certified that I'm fluent in English and other language that he's translating. Then here interpreter's signature, or in the case that you had a preparer, like somebody else who prepared this application for you, let's say attorney, or let's say some friend, then they should fulfill all this part here: their mailing address, their contact information, and prepare statements. So if they're not attorney or accredited representative, but they prepare this petition, then they'll click here. If they're attorney, they'll click here. Part 10, contact information statement, prepare certification. So the attorney or somebody else who prepared this application will sign here and date the application here. And part 11, which is basically the last page, page 11. This is the page where you will enter all the data that for which there was no space on the or on any of the other pages of this application. And then you'll fulfill this part here with your family name, given name, alien number. And here you will write, for example, if there was more than one physical address that you lived on in the last 2 years. I believe that was on the page 2, so you'll put the page number here, page 2. You'll see which part number it was, maybe part number 1, and the item number, let's say 22, and then you'll put here the new address. New address, and you'll put here time, let's say resided from, and then you put time that you resided on this address until, okay, and then you put the date here until when you resided there. And you also need to sign this, sign and date this page, the last page. And then additionally, I would like to add an example of affidavit of support, sworn affidavit of support that you are supposed to submit along with this application. I'll just provide you with an example of how it basically looks like it could look something like this. What's really necessary for this application to contain is the full name and address of affiant. As you can see here, name, full name, address, and the date of this affidavit. And then what else is relevant is the date of birth of this person and the birthplace. And then this is USCIS. Well, in our case, this is USCIS address. You will find that on the right address for your area. You will find for your state. You will find on USCIS website. And this is how it could basically look like. So let's see, these are just some names that I made up. So subject is affidavit letter of support for Michael Storm and Mary Love. Dear USCIS officer, I'm writing to confirm that I have known Michael Storm ever since I was born. Michael is my closest cousin. He's my uncle's son. In September 2018, Michael and Mary got married, taking up residence together in the same apartment in Houston. In the following years, my wife and I socialized with them on multiple occasions. We have visited each other, spent time outside in the parks together. My kids love Mary, and it is very much obvious she loves them too. Michael and Mary have remained our friends since moving to their new Houston apartment in September 2020. We even helped them move to the new apartment. They appear to be in love and happier than ever. Michael, Mary, and her son seem to get along very well together. Mary's son John has visited us on multiple occasions as well. He gets along well with my kids too. I anticipate Michael and Mary's marriage will remain a lifetime commitment. Thank you for the opportunity to share this information with you. Please contact me at, and then he provides his mobile number. If you require any additional information, I swear on the penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. So what's really relevant, as I already mentioned, in this affidavit, to have the full name of the person of affiant, their address, date, when this affidavit was written, and then their date of birth, birthplace, and it's really relevant to have this part here because this is something that USCIS requires, a sworn affidavit. So it's relevant, very much relevant to mention this in affidavit. I swear on the penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. So the person is basically explaining how they met the couple. They are explaining their relationship with this couple. How do they know them? How did they met them? And time frame they knew the couple, and they're giving a sense of the frequency, how frequently they're socializing, details explaining how the person acquired this knowledge, whether they are friends or cousins or similar, and they're also providing date and the signature here. I honestly hope that this was very useful for you. In the case you have found value in this video, please consider liking this video in order for this video to get ranked better on Google search results so that more people can benefit from it. Thank you for your attention and good luck.